Since 1973, Tattoo Charlie's has been an established body modification studio in Kentucky, featuring world-renowned artists and piercers, currently with locations on Preston Highway and in Lexington, a staple point in the tattoo community. Learn more at tattoocharlies.com. Set up your appointment today at 7904 Preston Highway. Our tattoos are done while you wait. Hey, are y'all in a band? Do you need merch for shows? By now I'm sure you've seen all the Metal Forge patches that are available, along with many more. Well, the printer I use for those is UKR Patcher. Check them out on Facebook and Etsy. They do awesome custom work and for extremely affordable prices for any band budget. Check them out, UKR Patcher on Facebook and Etsy. Hey everyone, do you play tabletop games like D&D and Pathfinder? Well, hit up Eric at Imagination Studios. They do custom printing for all your minis for gameplay. Don't forget they are a licensed Reaper, Artisan Guild, and Moored printer and dealer. Hit up ImaginationStudios502.com for more info. That's ImaginationStudios502.com. EMAGINATION Studios502.com.
Ashball presents Metal Fest 9, the Jeremy Wade No Cancer Fighting Weekend. 30 bands, 2 stages, 2 hellacious days. $15 per night or $25 for the weekend. Includes fishing and camping. Metal Fest 9, sponsored by Imperial Tattoos, the Bill TV Network, Dark Star TV, and Mike Taylor Sound. Hosted by Metal Forge Radio, with special guest, Cold Steel Rail, Shovelhead, Year of the Gun, 2-Pump Jump, Cross Joint, Overload, Juke Joint Revival, Fudge Knuckle, and SWP, Dustin Swaggart, Nightshade, Celestial Serpent, Nothing's Wrong, Hidden Solace, Call Me Monster, Devil Be My Judge, Bastard Sons of a Judas Goat, Automalized Buried, E Flat, Until the Dead Walk, Creature of Exile, Eulogy and Blood, Bradshaw, Metal Fest 9 at the Boondocks Event Center, bringing havoc back to the farm. Friday, July 24th, Saturday, July 25th. In Shepherdsville, Kentucky. For more information, check it out on Facebook, Metal Fest 9, the Jeremy Wade No Cancer Fighting Weekend.
Thank you for tuning into the Metal Forge. I am Mark Jackson and I am your host. The premise of the show is pretty simple. Awesome interviews and awesome music. If you want to contact me, hit me up at metalforgeradio@gmail.com or visit the website metalforgeradio.com. And now, let's get this show on the road. What's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in. It is Friday, June 26th. And you are listening to The Metal Forge, and I'm your host, Mark Jackson. Today, I have Bryce Vanhoosen on the show from Portland's own Silver Talon. Holy shit, awesome band, dude. Awesome guy to talk to. But I've been pushing the shows lately a lot, you know, where you're just like trying to get it out there, Share the show to everybody you can. I appreciate it, everything that you do, all the listens that you give me. I appreciate all of that. So I'm going to keep it kind of short on the monologue here today. Not really much has changed, you know, in my area. So I want to get it, you know, all thrash and no whatever. I don't know. Just whatever. But yeah, seriously, I appreciate everybody who tunes in every single week. All the archive listens that you all give me. If there's anything in particular that you all like, awesome. Let me know. I'll keep doing it. If you don't like something, let me know. I'll keep doing it. But yeah, seriously, again, thank you all. Don't forget, hit up the webpage, metalforgeradio.com, Instagram, Facebook, all Metal Forge Radio. Got some pretty cool guests coming up in the weeks coming, like Bastard Sons of a Judas Goat. I have E-Flat and Rod Mack from that. He's actually a cryptozoologist, which is pretty fucking cool as well. He's like a Bigfoot chaser. So we're going to look into that as well on that show. So it's going to be a little bit of a different Metal Forge. And then I got a surprise coming up, but I'm not going to announce it right now. It's super fucking cool. Got a few, actually. And I hope you all dig it. So, awesome shit's coming down the pike. You'll know soon enough. Because it's, like I said, it's going to be fucking awesome. But I appreciate it. Everything, Metal Forge Radio, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, metalforgeradio.com, patreon.com/metalforgeradio. Check it out. Hey, and if you're going to be in the Kentucky area, at the end of July 24th and 25th to be exact, in Shepherdsville, I will be there with my band, Overload, along with like 30 other bands, and I think another 12 punk bands. So there's going to be over 40 bands at this event. It's the Jeremy Wade No Cancer Fighting Weekend. Come out. It's $15 a day or $25 for the weekend. You can camp, BYOB, just, fucking metal and having a good time, supporting a cause, because everything goes to the V Foundation, profit-wise, so, and it's always fucking fun, music starts on Friday at like 7 o'clock and goes until 2 in the morning. On Saturday, it starts at like noon and goes until 2 in the morning, and everybody has fun. It's just fucking awesome, and it's for a good cause. Of course, it's outside. You're more than welcome to wear your PPE, your masks and gloves. Just if you do, dispose of them properly, because don't fucking throw shit like that on the ground. But, so yeah, awesome shit. Come on out. And I'm going to play some Silver Talon from the Becoming a Demon EP. This is Devil Machine. and I'm being joined on the line right now from Bryce Vanhoosen from Silver Talon. Bryce, how you doing?
Hello, hello.
Dude,
hey, I'm doing good. How are you?
Oh, dude, awesome. Holy crap, what a last few crazy months it's been, with all the COVID stuff and everything. But enough of all that talk, because it's been going on for the last few months now.
Right.
Tell us about Silver Talon out there.
Yeah, just like I just want like a general kind of 50,000-foot overview sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. From above, what would we see?
Perfect. Yeah, so we started in like 2017 at this point. I used to be in a band called Spellcaster, which is kind of like a new wave of trad heavy metal band. We got some notoriety, I guess. We released an album in 2016 on Prosthetic Records, and had an album before that was on, it was eventually on Earache Records. And before that, we were kind of, just doing our own thing. That ended in 2017 in sort of a massive blowout that we kind of had with our singer. It's a real sort of nasty situation where he almost got into a fist fight with Spellcaster's drummer, Colin. So after that, it was pretty much over. So me and the rest of the guys who were left in Spellcaster, which was at the time, it was myself, drummer Colin Vanhoosen, bassist Gabriel Franco, and
there's a name I know.
Yeah, and guitarist Sebastian Silva, and you should probably know all those guys. They're all in Idle Hands.
Yes, definitely.
So we started this sort of a joint thing where it was like two bands. Gabe could finally sort of start to do the gothic stuff that he had actually been writing for years but didn't really fit. And then we would also kind of continue the heavy metal sort of stuff with Silver Talon. So essentially for that, we sort of cast a big-ass net for a new singer. And we got a response by a fellow, oh man, I can't talk. We got a response from a fellow by the name of White Howell, who is the singer of Silver Talon. And he was in a band in Eugene called Sanctifier that Spellcaster had played with on a number of occasions. So, at that point, we basically just kind of started jamming. It was a real sort of natural thing because we were basically Spellcaster with a different singer. We wrote the track Devil Machine, released that as a demo. Then we wrote another track called Warrior's End. And these were all tracks we were kind of working on when Spellcaster was sort of still a unit. So they would have become Spellcaster songs had that whole situation kind of stuck together. So then after that, we released an EP in 2018, Becoming a Demon, that had studio versions of Devil Machine.
Right, which you had come out with the Becoming a Demon EP, which I really actually enjoy because I love the intro and outro stuff that's on there. The,
thank you.
Breath of Kerosene, and the outro is studio. I love for the Pink Floyd stuff where you've got interludes between songs that connect songs. I've always thought that was awesome.
Yeah, I love that stuff too. And especially when you're, releasing something that's supposed to be kind of taken as a unit, it's nice to have sort of an intro and an outro to kind of just sandwich it together and sort of make it its own thing rather than just, here's a collection of songs, which is oddly enough sort of counterintuitive, I guess, to the way that things are these days, where most people are just going to be on Spotify and listening to whatever track Spotify is telling them to listen to for the day. So, but for those few people out there that are into, I guess, the album as sort of a holistic experience, that's definitely totally my hope, is to kind of make it a
definitely
a unit to sort of be consumed.
Myself as a listener, I am very much one to, once I purchase an album, and it doesn't matter if it's an album that's 40 years old or 4 minutes old, it just came out. That's the first thing. That's the first thing I do. I put it in and let it go, because I want to hear what the artist intended the album to sound like from front to back. Because I think it's, regardless of what anybody says, for lack of a better term here, Aqualung was not a concept album. It just plays out that way. If you listen track to track. So that stuff like that I think is super cool in music. I wish I could write better stuff like that, but just pound it out, But there is one song that I think might draw a lot of people's attention is Battle Angels, Sanctuary featuring Jeff Loomis. How did that happen?
Yeah.
Did you just sit there and send him a Facebook message and say, hey, would you like to contribute? Because there's bands that have done that have been on the show.
Yeah, I just sent him a message and he's like, yeah, sure.
No shit? It's like, seriously?
Oh, sorry, you're saying the band has done that, or?
No, like that seriously happened that way? You just sit there and said, you know what, I'm going to message this guy and see what he says.
Well, essentially, yeah. It kind of came down to that. But, I had met him beforehand, and we'd sort of been in contact and talking and stuff.
Okay.
I met him in, April of 2017, and I was my wife and I drove up to Seattle to see kind of a one-off U.S. show from kind of a classic cult 80s Seattle band called Fifth Angel, if you're familiar with them at all. And we're walking up, and I see Jeff just standing outside, and I turn to my wife and I'm like, holy shit, it's Jeff Loomis. That's amazing. So I sort of didn't want to waste that moment, so I was like, all right, cool. He's just sort of standing there. Maybe I can go up and, real quick sort of ask for a photo or whatever, and just, have this as sort of a little keepsake. So I do that. He takes the photo, and then he turns to me and he goes, hey, you know what? You actually look really familiar. And I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. There's another guy who's, going to call me Dave Mustaine or say I look like Dave Mustaine or something like that, because I had, bangs and sort of curlier hair, I guess, than I do now. So I would get that comment a lot. But to my surprise, he was like, oh, yeah, you're from Portland. You play Jackson guitars. Like, I've seen you on Instagram. So somehow I had come across on his Instagram feed somewhere. So he was already familiar with me, which was insane.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So from there, we kind of just sort of kept in touch via Instagram, and, he would send me pictures of his new guitar purchases and that sort of thing. So, and then, I just kind of got the idea that, it might be cool because as a fan, he was in Sanctuary, but never actually recorded anything with Sanctuary. And I'm sort of obsessed with those, old Nevermore live shows that they did kind of in the early, mid-90s where they're playing Battle Angels and, Jeff's playing the solo and that sort of thing. So
right.
As a fan, I was like, this would be really kind of cool to sort of bring it all together.
Right.
So yeah,
with Arch Enemy and stuff like that. That's fucking killer, dude.
Yeah. So yeah, he was into it, and that's it. The rest is history.
Wow. To sit there and to have somebody like him be like, you look familiar, dude. Like, where have I seen? And then realize that I'd be like, holy shit. It's like,
yeah.
Is that what making it is? I guess. Everybody says the thing, oh, sure. We're going to make it. We're going to, that make it term. It's like, I guess that is it, that somebody, that I think that level, puts something on a level keel where it's like, we're kind of a peer group now. If you're being recognized by somebody on Jeff Loomis, Right. Yeah.
I still am not able to, I don't even think, like, separate myself from it because it's just too weird, you know?
Yeah.
You grow up kind of, like, idolizing these guys, and then you meet them, and somehow they recognize you, and then you're like, oh, shit, you're just, you know, normal guy.
Right.
So, yeah, and, I've been over to his house and stuff and hung out and all that kind of stuff. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, he introduces me to various other people. Like when he was here just last year with Arch Enemy, I met Dirk, who is the drummer for Megadeth, who was playing for At the Gates because of some sort of scheduling issue or something like that. So that was cool.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, it's just kind of using all those connections and meeting just these other sort of legendary figures, you know?
Do what you can, you know? That was like, same thing kind of happened with the bands I was saying earlier, you know? Tim Ripper Owens put a thing out on Facebook, says, hey, I'm ready to record some stuff. Who wants to jam?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me
I think
let me send you the stuff, you know? For sure.
Right, yeah. I think that, you know, the internet at least has sort of made this much smaller kind of pond, or, you know, maybe it's always been sort of the same size pond, but now with the internet you sort of just realize kind of how small it is.
Right.
And everybody's just sort of just a click away, really.
Definitely. Everybody definitely is a click away. I mean, when you can send messages, regardless of who might be mandating the account for somebody, that
right.
stuff's got to get there somewhere. It's got to be, be sent something.
Exactly.
So that's awesome. So how do you all get together? And now, is everybody in the same area? Do you all have to, do you have to send tracks to one another that are like 200 miles away? How do you all get together to write music?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, a lot of it kind of comes down to a collaboration basically between myself and our singer Wyatt. And we live together, so it makes that whole process fairly easy. For the rest of the guys, I mean, most of them are in Portland with the exception of Sebastian, who usually he's been all over. I mean, he's originally from Portland, but then he was kind of in exile back in his home country of Mexico for a bit of last year, and then in the Netherlands for the rest of the year.
Wow.
And that sort of thing. So, yeah, the guy's got a real crazy story.
It sounds like it.
So, yeah. So for him, a lot of it is just kind of via text message online, sending guitar profiles back and forth, that kind of thing. So it's really kind of amazing that, actually, even when we were recording this album that is going to come out at some point in the future, we barely got together. Most of it was just done online, just kind of sending files back and forth, and everybody just sort of works at home at their own pace.
Nice. That seems to be a lot of the thing these days, because again, as you said, excuse me, now I'm the one who can't talk. As you said earlier about the pond is a lot smaller now. And it seems like that because, there's people who can perform with one another being from maybe the United Kingdom and in Arizona. Or
and
that's so cool to be able to do something like that if you have the capabilities, to be able to send files and such. But that's super awesome to me.
Yeah, and it's the barrier to entry for that kind of stuff is so low these days. I mean, all you really need is a $400 laptop and a $150 USB interface.
Yeah.
You're off to the races, basically.
Definitely. Just make sure you still mic any guitar cabinets.
You don't even need to do that.
You don't have to do that. Not on a lot of stuff now, no. But mine, with my setup, I still have to. Because if I just play straight, it sucks.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I actually recently got this thing that I didn't know existed. It came out maybe a couple of years ago, but it's from a company called Two Notes. And it's this thing called the Torpedo Captor, where basically you can just it's a load box that you can plug your amp into, and then the other side basically just goes into the front end of your your interface.
Yeah.
So it lets you use
Your
an amp
tube amp,
with,
yeah.
Yeah, with a real, or with like a impulse response cabinet setup kind of thing, which is crazy. It's been blowing my mind.
Definitely. There's actually a brand called Sur. It's SUHR. They have
okay, yeah.
They have a thing called the reactive load that does the same thing. It's for an 8 ohm. It's for an 8 ohm head, which you can run straight in, and then you can run on the other side of it. You can run a cabinet simulator.
There you go.
Yeah, and I know people who exclusively record that way, just so they do not have to. They do not have to, mic amps and such. And it sounds, you have a JCM 800 head. You don't want to, plug in the cabinet. There you go. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite song on the album of Becoming a Demon?
Favorite song? I mean, probably Devil Machine. I really like that, the main riff that we used for the chorus. I think that it's kind of one of the better riffs that I've ever written. It's sort of like a aha kind of feeling when it came out, I guess. I like Speed of the Night, the intro section, at least for that. I was on a roll with that one, so I think that one came out pretty nice as well.
Awesome.
And then I also really like Cold Embrace. I don't know if it kind of takes a little bit, I think, for people to sort of get into, because it's kind of a slow sort of burn, but I think once you actually get to that first chorus, it's pretty satisfying.
Right. Again, it's like the thing of what I had said. It's, hearing an album the way it's intended.
Right, yeah.
And I think exactly. It definitely fits. So when you're writing a song, do you assign any kind of like working titles? And if you do, what's the most crazy one you've ever assigned?
Man, I'll assign working titles, and they'll be like fairly serious, or I'll just pull them from like some work of science fiction, or even some like Game of Thrones episodes or some shit like that, back when that was on and was still enjoyable for everybody.
Right. So give me an example of one.
Well, so I had one, I think there was like, in Game of Thrones, they have like was one episode that was called like Unbowed, Unbent, Unbroken or something like that. And I think the rest of the guys turned it into some really perverted sort of thing that was like unbelted, bent over, and broken.
Oh. Wow.
So that one the working title for that one just became Unbelted for a while.
Understandable. See, and that to me, I think that's the fun part of the writing process. Is it's like, all right, now what song is this again? Well, it's Unbelted. It's like, oh
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you'll be in the studio and talking about it, and the engineer will sort of just look over and be like, "What the fuck is wrong with these guys?"
Hey, metal, right? Metal. Come
on. Yeah, we're all just prepubescent boys, pretty much.
Of course,
this whole game.
I mean, it's for being able to do something like that for a living and be able to it's I think it's all about making your friends laugh. Ultimately, it's like what can you do to pop your friends? It's
right.
Why not? So, what inspires you to write music?
Oh man, it's weird because I don't really know. It's just sort of this kind of like driving need, I guess, to just sort of get some sort of artistic output out into the world. Before it was music, when I was a kid, I grew up in a pretty poor family, so we couldn't really afford instruments or musical equipment or anything like that, even though, I wanted to start playing from a young age. But drawing was kind of like the thing that I would do because, a sheet of paper and a pencil is fairly cheap. So there's always just been this sort of need, I guess, inside of me to create something, sort of create these worlds and sort of like tell these stories and that sort of thing. So I think, once I got older and I was able to actually afford an instrument and stuff like that, it kind of just took off, and it's been music and sort of putting these pieces together and trying to, tell stories or have some sort of emotional impact with sound rather than with, drawing and text and that sort of thing. So, as far as, I can't really put my finger on sort of what that drive is, but it's there. And, whenever I try to sort of suppress that with a 9 to 5 or something like that, there's sort of this feeling, I guess, like deep inside of like slowly being suffocated,
Right. I definitely can relate to that for sure. If you could have written a song or an album from somebody else, what would it be?
Oh man, probably every Sabotage song ever. I think when I think about Sabotage, that's kind of so many riffs that I wish that I would have written. So instead, I just played them backwards and called them my riffs.
Oh wow, really? No.
Some of them.
I get that.
Really, you'll take like a little chord progression or something like that, and you'll be like, "Oh, cool! I can work that into something," and then a song just forms around that somehow.
I think that's the influence of other music on us, and no matter who it is. There was a guest.
Right.
There was a guest that I had on about a month ago. Nick from Warcloud said, he's like he really liked a song, so he would play the riff of the song and then mutate it to something that he liked it to sound like.
Right. Yeah.
And I believe he was saying about how David Bowie had done that to a Stones song. And it was like,
okay.
And it was so cool, but they were peer groups anyways, because Bowie and Jagger were really good friends apparently. So,
okay.
But that's super cool.
Yeah, I mean, musicians honestly have been doing that since kind of the dawn of time,
right.
Really. I mean, you have composers like Mozart, even, who would just take a piece of somebody else's symphony and just kind of go off with it. And back then, it wasn't necessarily considered stealing. It was just sort of like almost an honorable thing. Like, oh, Mozart ripped me off. Like, hey, that's cool.
It was like paying homage to somebody, which is, I guess, what cover tunes do, but
right.
a different way.
But with cover tunes, the original artist is still getting paid to them. So,
yeah, right. Exactly. Exactly.
And furthermore, I think in these sort of days and age, guys like Jimmy Page have been sued how many times from people that have claimed that some of his riffs that sold way more copies are a little bit too close to theirs.
Right. Yeah. The biggest deal with him that I saw was like Dazed and Confused, and he, of course, Zeppelin lost the lawsuit, and they paid the royalties back for like 5 years.
God damn.
And to the original artist. And this was like 2 or 3 years ago that the lawsuit happened.
Yeah, I remember seeing the headlines kind of pass by and never actually dove in too much into the ins and outs of that story.
Right.
But that was a pretty big deal, though, right? Because then it sort of set a precedent for a song being a little bit too close. If I'm remembering right, I'm sort of grasping at straws for what the bigger implication of this was.
Same concept, different. I believe that was on the Vanilla Ice thing for Under Pressure. And Ice Ice Baby.
Okay.
That's what that was. That was the one that changed the demographic, or the landscape rather, of does the song, is it too close? Is the sample too close to the original that they got away with not paying royalties for?
Right. And that one was just like 2 notes at the end, right? Because
one.
Vanilla Ice's goes Oh.
It was one note.
Bum, bum, and Queen goes bum.
Definitely. Do you listen to yourself musically? Away from a critique factor?
Like, do I sit down and sort of just enjoy my playing, you mean?
Yeah.
Like,
do you pop in the Becoming a Demon album, EP, and just listen to it are you able to disconnect from it and say, you know what, that's a pretty good riff. That's a good album.
Yes and no. I mean, I really kind of have to get myself to sort of a mental state where I'm maybe listening objectively to the other things, and I'm just sort of a part of that, just kind of by happenstance, more or less. So I'll listen to the mix and the performance of the other guys, and I'll be like, damn, they're doing a really good job, or wow, this mix is really good. This album sounds great. If I start listening too close to me specifically, I start to get kind of the, I guess, analytical sort of thing happening where I'm like, could I have done this better? What would I have done differently? And that sort of thing. So, yeah, really, really kind of just try to move on when I get stuff out,
Okay. Fair enough.
Especially with like older stuff, like if I went back and listened to some of the Spellcaster stuff from like 2014 or whatever, I would just be like, oh my God, this is terrible.
Well, I think it's the growth of an artist at that point where it's
sure, exactly.
I'm sure just out of, happenstance, say Metallica, for example, we'll listen to certain things like, the songs that are never played live, like Escape and Trapped Under Ice and Leper Messiah, and just be like, meh, it was a different time, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and just be
I'm
so
sure.
disconnected from it.
Right. Which sucks, because those are some of my favorite Metallica songs.
I think they're everybody's favorite Metallica songs, and they never play them.
Except for Metallica.
Except for what?
Oh, man. Except for Metallica. They're the only ones who don't like them.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Well, again, it's because they're too close to it.
Right. Yeah.
So, on a touring aspect,
yes.
If you could have played any major concert from days gone past, what would you want to play?
Like a concert that's already taken place?
Yeah, like if you could have been there, a concert that you could have never actually feasibly performed at, what would it be?
Oh, man.
Like a Woodstock, Isle of Wight,
right?
The Russian show, Monsters of Rock, stuff like that. Huge events.
Right.
What would you want to play?
I honestly have never ever actually thought about that, because I'm too busy sort of focusing on what I can do in the real world, I guess.
Right.
And, what I would like to play right now. But I mean, I guess maybe sort of any kind of like tour that was done, back in the 80s or even the 90s. I mean, let's be real. There, people were still going to concerts in the 90s, rock concerts at least.
Oh yeah. You mean like a Clash of the Titans tour?
Yeah, like something where these days people are playing in kind of like these small clubs, or not small clubs, but sort of like theaters. You know what I mean? Whereas those guys are like playing arenas. You had Alice in Chains going out on sort of like one of their first real tours, and they're playing the freaking arenas.
Right.
That kind of stuff is just mind-blowing. So I sort of wish that, we could do something like that.
Right on. That's an awesome, thinking about something like that and putting it to the terms of the future, assuming we're all going to get back together and play shows again.
Yeah, I think we will.
I hope so. Hopefully soon.
Yeah. It might be a couple years, but we'll get there.
Gosh, please don't say that. A couple of years.
Yeah.
It'll be like 2112 You know
geez.
you know what I'm talking about? Where the discovery. It's because the music is abolished, and he finds the guitar in the cave and starts playing music again. It's like, no, that can't happen like that, right?
It'll probably just be more like Footloose.
Oh gosh.
The crazy government people are telling them, no, you can't dance. And then everybody starts dancing anyway. Patrick Swayze's there. It's fucking awesome.
Yes.
Oh, man, I'm thinking of Dirty Dancing. All right, never mind. Fuck Footloose.
No, yeah, because it's the both same concept on both films, so.
Right. Somebody ripped somebody off.
Yeah. That's the 80s. That's the 80s for you, for sure.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite city and venue? Could be two different places. City of one or venue of another that you like to perform in.
I would say like San Antonio, Texas is always a really, really cool place to play. From sort of even back when I just sort of joined Spellcaster and we did our first tours kind of as a unit up until now. For some reason, San Antonio shows have always just been pretty off the hook. Venue-wise, oh man, I don't know. I mean, any place that has kind of like a decent sound system, I think.
Right.
and security and staff that doesn't treat the artists like complete dog shit.
Yes.
My standards are pretty low. But I really like playing places like El Corazon in Seattle, which maybe doesn't fit some of that criteria, but is a legendary sort of venue for other reasons and kind of the parts that it played in the Seattle punk and grunge scenes in the late 80s and early 90s.
Definitely.
So, yeah, it's cool.
Okay. I can dig that. And just for the record, San Antonio loves Ozzy.
Oh, yeah. I was reading K.K. Downing's book, and he was talking about how San Antonio was like Judas Priest's city. I'm like, God damn, there must be something in the water in San Antonio.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the Ozzy thing is just because of the Alamo incident.
Oh, the Alamo, that's right.
Yep. Oh, they love him there.
Yeah.
Remember? All right, this part of the interview is about you. It's about Bryce. Do you have a favorite film?
Oh, favorite film. Man, I don't know. That's tough. I really like The Dark Crystal. That's a great movie. The Netflix series that they just came out with was also amazing. Also really like kind of like the old Schwarzenegger sort of cyberpunk movies like Terminator 1 and 2.
The Running Man.
And Running Man. Oh, that's a great movie as well. As well as Total Recall.
Oh yeah.
I think those three movies, Terminator 1, 2, and Total Recall, were kind of my favorite movies as a kid growing up. That I would basically make my grandparents kind of put on repeats because they did not have any problem with me watching rated R movies as like a 5 or 6 year old,
Right. Which is interesting because I always, I love Total Recall as well. But being a kid, I didn't realize how late in like that genre for him that film was. Because it came out in like 1990. And I was like, wow.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for Arnold, you mean?
Yeah, definitely. Considering that's 6 years after Terminator.
Well, same with Terminator 2. Didn't that come out in like
91 or 92?
92?
Yeah, 91, 92, something like that.
Yeah.
So
that was when I was sort of gaining consciousness as a human on this planet. So that was new Arnold for me.
Definitely. I just remember the scene where John Connor, Edward Furlong, is riding the dirt bike and Guns N' Roses is playing. So totally. It's like, yeah. I'm gonna butcher it up to shit. So.
It was so cool.
Oh, the best. Do you have a favorite food?
I'm just gonna go with pizza because it's pretty hard to mess up pizza or burritos.
I don't know. You can put pineapple on it.
Oh, I love pizza and pineapple.
I know. I'm just giving shit. So I mean, it's not
I don't
bad.
understand the hate.
What's that?
I don't understand the hate for pizza and pineapple.
I really don't either. I just, everybody that I know is like they're either a diehard yes or a diehard no, and it's just like, nope, there it is.
Right. Yeah. I think it's probably just because society sort of forces us to take these kind of dichotomies, whereas I don't think people would really give too many shits about it other than, you have somebody who's like, oh, man, this guy really likes pineapple on pizza. This guy really doesn't. Now fight it out. That sort of thing.
Definitely.
So it's just a topping after all, Like, we don't go toe-to-toe about mushrooms on pizza or whatever.
No.
Nobody cares.
There was a pizza restaurant where I'm from called CC's. And they would do – they were like a pizza buffet. And they would do, like, all kinds of, like, specialized pizzas like that. And it would be, like, crazy. Like, one of them would have, like, spiral noodles, like macaroni and cheese or Alfredo on them. Some would have, like, buffalo sauce and pineapple. It's like, yeah. That was a pretty cool place. And it was pretty cheap, too.
Hell yeah. I can get down with that.
Do you have an ultimate jam?
An ultimate what?
Do you have an ultimate jam? Something that finds its way back into your media player, whether it be on vinyl, CD, cassette, anything.
Oh, man. Probably, I'm going to have to say maybe like the first Yngwie Rising Force album, just kind of as a whole, or, we could just even take like either Black Star or the Icarus Suite. Those are the ones that I'm really just like, yeah, fuck yeah.
Definitely.
In fact, I'll listen to that stuff before we play shows just to psych myself up. It's like kind of a pre-show ritual,
Absolutely. That's always been one of my things I've always wanted to incorporate question-wise was, do you have a song you listen to or a few songs you listen to before going on stage? The things that mellow you out and get you psyched for the show. Yeah,
absolutely. I think a lot of people do, and if you started exploring that, you might be sort of surprised.
Definitely. One of my favorite things is I like watching, if I'm able to, I like watching the film Heavy Metal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like the first one?
Yeah. Oh, I don't believe that there is a second one. I know there is one, and the character and the character was modeled after Kevin Eastman's wife, but no, I only recognize the first one, so I'm that kind of guy. I'm that kind of guy. Do you have any Spinal Tap moments you like to share?
Oh man, too many of them. I mean, I think it's
just the one that stands out to you the most.
I'm trying to think. I mean, I had a run where I was pretty much like fairly consistently night for night, sort of like unplugging myself or unplugging my guitar or, hitting a power switch somewhere on stage and like shutting my amp off right before I would go into a solo. So I'm getting all ready and I'm, foot up on the monitor. Everybody's like, yeah, all right, it's going to happen. And then nothing. My power just goes out completely. So I've had that happen more times than I can count. That's probably been the biggest sort of buzzkill.
Yeah. That definitely is
Yeah.
a shitty moment to sit there, and especially if it's like a ripping solo or something, you know, and you're just like, whoop, and there it goes, and it's like,
Yeah.
shit, help somebody, you
Yeah,
know.
everything's sort of building up to it, and it's just like, all right, here comes the fucking climax, and then just nothing. It's just blue balls. That's it. That's all you get.
That's so ridiculous that, like, it's just so insane. Like, and then if somebody's trying to help you that's also in the band on stage, like they're trying to plug you back in as you're doing it, that's the worst. That's always the worst thing that could happen. It's like, oh.
Yeah, exactly. Welcome to amateur hour.
Yeah, right. Definitely.
Yeah, we try these days to make sure that stuff's like maybe a little bit more bulletproof, so that kind of thing doesn't happen. Just have a nice, smooth running show. But yeah, especially back during the Spellcaster days, it was a lot of kind of learning on our feet, and that sort of thing. So if anything could go wrong, it would go wrong.
Oh, yes. I mean, that's the genesis for the question, is because everything just goes wrong from time to time,
Yep, absolutely.
Got a few more questions here. What is your greatest achievement as a musician?
Man, I don't know. That's sort of, I guess, where I get to the point of, like, I'm always, like, looking for the next thing. So for me, I guess, to, like, sit back and be like, oh, yeah, that was cool. It's fairly rare because I'm always trying to outdo it. Or I'm sort of, looking at the next big thing, and I'm like, oh, that would be really awesome, too. But, I mean, I don't know. Probably the thing that I am still the most blown away from is just, people like Jeff Loomis seeing my Instagram page and leaving enough of an impression where he would just sort of recognize me out on the street. So I think that kind of stuff is pretty cool.
Absolutely. And again, it's like, everybody has their own idea of what, quote, making it is.
Right.
And that's, to find, to have somebody like Jeff Loomis liking your Instagram posts or such, and, that's an awesome feather in the cap, in my opinion. So, hell yeah.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah, definitely is.
And now this is the morbid question, and people are like, oh, really? And it's, if heaven or hell exists, what do you want to hear when you arrive?
All right, so is it like playing on a loop, like a repeat sort of thing, or is it just you get there, here's the intro music?
Yep, it's your entrance at WrestleMania. No.
Okay.
What do you want to hear when you're walking out the curtain?
Oh, probably
wherever you think you're going.
Far Beyond the Sun.
What's that?
Yngwie, Far Beyond the Sun.
Awesome. I dig that.
Yeah. It'll roll nicely into that theme as well.
Very much.
And some cosmic consciousness beyond all life.
Wow. Probably a more in-depth answer than most people get. Seriously. Bryce, thank you for calling in. It's been awesome. Tell everybody out there how to get a hold of Silver Talon, how they can purchase your music, how they can find you on all the social media sites out there. How do they do that?
Yeah, so we are on literally all of the social media sites out there. The ones that I use the most are probably Instagram. You can either check us out, Silver Talon. We are Silver.Talon on Instagram, or my personal Instagram page is B Vanhoosen, just like my last name. And as far as where our music is, we're on Bandcamp or Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, whatever. Also have a website, silver-talon.com.
Awesome. Yeah, and it's silvertalon.bandcamp.com. You can get the Becoming a Demon EP along with the Warriors End demo and a Devil Machine demo and a bunch of awesome merch on there. Like a couple of patches, which I have, and are fucking going on the Battle Vest soon. Hell yes.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Along with, you got some tapestries. It looks like all your vinyl and discs. It looks like you have some CDs still available, but the vinyl and the tape are sold out. And I just saw this. I don't know when this got put up here, but it looks like you're giving away, or you're not giving it away. It's a 1-hour guitar lesson.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got some of those out there as well.
Yeah, I see that. That's awesome. It looks like it says topics include basic theory, developing and personalizing practice routine, phrasing, all the way down to social media management. I might have to pay.
Yeah.
I might have to pay for that.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah,
Awesome.
let's do it, man.
That's an awesome deal. So, Bryce, again, thank you so much. And before we go, this is going to be... What am I going to play here? What do you want me to play?
Oh, man, put me on the spot here.
Yeah, what do you want me to play of your alls?
Ours. It's like, oh, what song do I want to hear right now? Just do, how about Speed of the Night?
You heard it. Speed of the Night. Here it goes. Since 1973, Tattoo Charlie's has been an established body modification studio in Kentucky, featuring world-renowned artists and piercers, currently with locations on Preston Highway and in Lexington, a staple point in the tattoo community. Learn more at TattooCharlies.com. Set up your appointment today at 7904 Preston Highway. Our tattoos are done while you wait. Hey, are y'all in a band? Do you need merch for shows? By now I'm sure you've seen all the Metal Forge patches that are available, along with many more. Well, the printer I use for those is UKR Patcher. Check them out on Facebook and Etsy. They do awesome custom work and for extremely affordable prices for any band budget. Check them out, UKR Patcher on Facebook and Etsy. Hey everyone, do you play tabletop games like D&D and Pathfinder? Well, hit up Eric at Imagination Studios. They do custom printing for all your minis for gameplay. Don't forget, they are a licensed Reaper, Artisan Guild, and more printer and dealer. Hit up ImaginationStudios502.com for more info. That's ImaginationStudios502.com. EMAGINATION Studios502.com.
Ashball presents Metal Fest 9, the Jeremy Wade No Cancer Fighting Weekend. 30 bands, 2 stages, 2 hellacious days. $15 per night or $25 for the weekend. Includes fishing and camping. Metal Fest 9, sponsored by Imperial Tattoos, the VLTV Network, Dark Star TV, and Mike Taylor Sound. Hosted by Metal Forge Radio, with special guest, Cold Steel Rail, Shovelhead, Year of the Gun, 2-Pump Chump, Cross Joint, Overload, Juke Joint Revival, Fudge Knuckle, and SWP, Dustin Swaggart, Nightshade, Celestial Serpent, Nothing's Wrong, Hidden Solace, Call Me Monster, Devil Be My Judge, Bastard Sons of a Judas Goat, Autumnalized Berry, E Flat, Until the Dead Walk, Creature of Exile, Eulogy and Blood, Bradshaw, Metal Fest 9 at the Boondocks Event Center, bringing havoc back to the farm. Friday, July 24th, Saturday, July 25th. In Shepherdsville, Kentucky. For more information, check it out on Facebook. Metal Fest 9, the Jeremy Wade No Cancer Fighting Weekend.